Howdy hotshot. Today is a video, the end. No. Okay. So today I thought maybe I'd wait a little bit longer to talk about this part of my life. Um but I decided no. Um the hospital. My laundry's done. Um so I spent 2 months in the hospital once. Um and it wasn't like an emergency care hospital. Are you catching my drift here? Like, it was a hospital that has security guards. Um, Not the security guard that I am, but it's got okay. I hate YouTube verbiage so much. I don't want to use the word unalive, but it's I don't know how to explain it. So that happened, and I don't really care about it. Like, that's not a dark part of my life that I regret and that I just wish I could erase, man. Um, I feel like we've all thought about it at least once. I don't know. I think that's normal. Um, well, so I was like a kiddo, you know. I think I was 16, um, and that was the worst place I have ever been. It was, man, it was horrible. So I don't even know where to begin because it's just so bad. Um, it was like an hour and a half away from my home, so um, like I just felt very isolated. I mean, most of my family is like dead at this point in my life, and at that point in my life, besides my mom and brother and my father, um, and then I have two grandparents. But well, they really, to start, I guess they really kind of lied almost. I don't. So it's something I consented to going to, I should say. Though my mother was there and she like officially signed it, but like they couldn't do it unless I also signed a paper saying I was checking in. But then I couldn't leave. So, like, but what they said was it's an open door hospital. You'll be able to go in and out as you please. They literally said it like that. Open door hospital, you can come and go as you wish. But the part that they left out, that is if you choose to go, then you get hunted down and tackled in like 3 seconds by, they literally have like people for that. So if you walk out, the door's not locked. If you open the door, you get pinned down and then like held there until you stop screaming or whatever. I never actually did anything like that. Um, I feel like I made a mistake and I wasted like people's time and resources by even agreeing to go there. But because like there are some people there that were really bad, like they really really needed help and they were really violent, and like it wasn't good. Um, so the actual campus, I want to call it, it was like a school and then a male and female ward, different buildings, I guess they call them cottages, but when I think of cottage, I think of like a cozy little camp in the woods with mushrooms, and it was literally like not that. It was horrible. It was like a warped, so literally it was a warped brick. When you stood in one hallway at the top floor and then you looked at the other end of the hallway, it was like shifted like 15 degrees when you got to the other side because the building was just like warped. I don't know how to explain it. Like, you could see the bricks in the wall were like this instead of just being a flat brick wall. So that was awesome. I felt very safe there. It was dirty. There was rats. Literally children doing things together in the main like rooms, which was sickening. Oh man. Okay. So the school was probably the best part because I didn't have to be in like the living quarters. And literally like they call it a school. This is a place where society has given up on you, and I don't blame them. Like if you don't want to help yourself, then just go somewhere where you can't hurt yourself or someone else, and I get it. But like, why even have a school? Okay, they were asking, they were literally doing basic multiplication like 15 times like 12, and I was in high school. Like that was the class. Like they were teaching us how to multiply. It just kind of humiliating. Like it was a rough, but I liked it. They also had scream rooms there, which I thought were like not supposed to be a thing anymore. Um, and there were also just like people attacking each other constantly, kids attacking kids, kids attacking like adults. Um, and when I say security, I meant like security guards. I don't mean like someone who's trained in security like me. I mean someone who had a free weekend and decided to like volunteer, I guess. So it was like they still would chase you down, and like the director would come out. I remember like the director of the hospital, which you'd think is like a role where you'd be doing more like pencil pushing. Like he would just come down and get into screaming matches with kids, like 8-year-olds. Like I remember the first night that I was there, first day, I was fucking, excuse me, I was sleeping all day because I just hated it so much, and I just woke up because I could hear like, you want to do it? Go ahead and punch me. Throw the first punch, you little mother ever. And like this guy, and I was like, is there like a grown man in here like bullying people? And then I like went outside and I asked what's going on, and they just told me it was like the director. I can't remember. He had a really dumb name, but I can't remember. And he was just like freaking out on a kid who was like 9. Like, yeah. So horrible place. There's a lot more. I was like 3 years older than the other people. Like the person that was closest to my age was like 13, and I was like 15 and a half. I was like 16. So already I literally had no socialization of any kind besides adults. Um, and that was okay sometimes. Some of them, like, it wasn't like an evil government facility where they're like testing you. Like they weren't like horrible people, but they were tired, and they were like, they didn't, they'd seen me before. They know who I am, and they know that it's not going to change because of the thing that, it wasn't a position of care. It was just a 9 to 5, and I get that, and I'm not faulting them for that. But so like literally like I would just sit out there, like it was supposed to be bedtime, but like also it was so hot. It was baking in that building, and I ended up sleeping on like the cold linoleum floor a lot of nights. And they told me I couldn't even do that anymore, which was, oh my god, it was awful. Unrelated. It was like 2 months, which doesn't, like if someone says like you're sentenced to 2 months in jail, like you could be like, okay, it could be a lot worse, you know. But I feel like I lost a lot of myself there. And like when I came back, like people didn't remember me, which is weird. Like I had 2 friends who wrote me letters, and I don't even talk to them anymore. But like when I came out, those were the only 2 people I had in my life for a while. And that was a really fun part of my life also, because I was just happy to be free again. But I'm getting a little sidetracked here. In this hospital, how I got out. So I ended up calling my dad. They had a phone call system, and okay, this is actually like, I feel like this should be criminal. So you could get a phone call every night or whatever, like a jail. And they would sit there and they would have their finger on the button. And if you said something they don't like, they would literally just like click the phone off. You would be hung up, and then they wouldn't let you call anymore. And they could also remove numbers. So like if you tried to call a number, it would just never answer. It would like never, it would ring and ring, and you'd think it's such a slimy, underhanded, like if you think that a person's not is like going against their treatment, you need to explain to them why that is, and you can't just pretend like they're able to call their parents and then make it seem like their parents aren't answering. Like that's so messed up. And I remember, so like I never did any like the physical screaming matches. Literally, I was always very normal. I was like edgy sometimes, but like I ripped the phone like it was like one of those office phones with the cord, and I ripped it out of her hand, and I was like, you can't do that. Like, you can't just hang up if you don't. I want to go home. Like, I'm allowed to ask my dad to go home, and I like took it, and then I like stood up. She was like a very small woman, and like I'm not a threatening person, but I like stood over her, and it was just like a little office, like 2 foot by 2 foot office. And I was like, I'm gonna talk to my dad. Like, I'd been in there for like a month and a half at that point, and I was like, Dad, I need you to come in here and visit me, and we're gonna talk about getting me out. Bye. And I just like tossed the phone. It didn't like break, but I just like tossed it back to her. And that's when they did remove my dad's number. So I thought that when I called him at night, that he just wasn't answering me anymore. But he did eventually come, and I explained everything, and he checked me out after a very long battle. They literally acted like if I left there, like the world was just gonna like turn to ash, and like it was awful. There was like eventually they moved me to like it's hard to explain it. So there was like the male and female like cottages, and then they had like it was like the opposite of like solitary confinement in like jail. It was like if you're really well behaved and you like act mature and stuff like that, you can go to this more clean facility that's like a few doors down, which was weird, but they gave that to me, and it was like male and female wards combined and stuff like that, and that was fine, I guess. I only got to stay there for like a week, but it was better. I still feel really bad. I asked a girl one time, we had like an art class, and I was just like, like, how long have you been here? Because I felt like I was going crazy. 2 months. She had been there for 4 years. Where is her family? How is she not recovering? You need to revise the treatment plan if someone is going 4 years and they don't feel like they can go live and be a kid anymore. Like, I'm getting really heated about this because it feels like a crime. Like, and you can't just like, if you're not 18, you can't check yourself out. So if your parents don't want you, tough, and it sucks. And literally nobody cares. Nobody, there's nothing. Do you have zero connection to the outside world? You get a radio, and you can't, like, you can write letters, but like if you don't have people on the outside that are gunning for you, who cares what happens? It's literally like the game Outlast, where they have like, they picked a psych ward to just like experiment on people because nobody cares about them, and it works. Like, I mean, again, they weren't doing experiments and stuff like that, but like they were like milking them for checks, and like, now there were some really good adults there. Like, they were mostly just like staff though. Like, they're, the lady who's supposed to post up at the hallway and make sure kids don't run around at night. After that call with my dad, I freaked out and I was crying, and I was just like, I'm never getting out of here. Like, and she ordered me a pizza, and like that was one of the nicest things someone's ever done for me. Sorry. I felt very seen and heard and cared about. And she wasn't supposed to do that. She was not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that to anybody. You're not supposed to connect them to things, vices, things like that. I do wonder what's going on there sometimes now. It's been many years, many years since I've been there, but I don't know. I hope it's better, but I don't think it is. It was just very dirty, unclean. I remember one time a kid who was like 12 was like talking back, and they said, "Do you want to sleep outside again?" Like a punishment. It was like, it wasn't like, it was like May. May can get pretty cold at night. And also, what does that mean? Because like they were acting like a punishment. He was like throwing screws at someone for some reason. I don't know where he got screws at, but, and they're like, you need to stop, you need to stop. And he said like, oh, F no. And they're like, well, do you want to sleep outside again? Like, what does that mean? And I stared at them, but I couldn't bring the courage, I guess, to say what. Just leaves a bad taste in my mouth thinking about that. That kid was actually my roommate. I never asked him about it because they moved him in with me for like the last couple days, but then he did also rip up a bunch of my like toys and stuff. Like, which is annoying, but whatever. And also, yeah, this is the kind of place we're talking about. I thought it was really chill of them to say this, but when he was doing that, the male guard out front was like, "Hey, buddy, I'm gonna close your door, and I'm just gonna be looking around somewhere else." And he was implying that, like, he was like, whatever happens in here happens. Like, he was implying that I could assault this kid and like beat him up because he was, and I thought that was chill, but I didn't do it. In fact, I have a drawing he made for me. He drew like the SpongeBob cast, like Sandy and Pearl and Mr. Krabs, Squidward, and that was very sweet of him because I didn't assault him, I guess, and then he was very well behaved after that. But like, I don't know, it's just a messed up place, and I really don't like it. I hope it goes away, but I'm far away from it now, and not much I can really do, I guess. But that's the story of the hospital, quote unquote. Bye.